Jai Gurudev, we often hear about dignity of labor and dignity of job in the outside world across private, public, and informal sectors. But within the art of living universe, this transforms into something deeper, the dignity of seva. Could you help us understand what this means within the context of the ashram and the global art of living family? Yes, Jai Gurudev. Yes, you have beautifully introduced the essence in the art of living. Seva is not merely work, it's not employment, nor is it a transactional. It's a sacred offering, a divine act. The dignity of Seva comes from the awareness that we are serving the divine and in doing so, dissolving the ego. Whether one is a Swamiji guiding advanced meditation programs or a youth sweeping the amphitheater after satsang, each act of seva is held in equal regard. There is no high or low seva. Seva transcends designations. It's not about what you are doing, but the consciousness and devotion with it you are doing it. That's truly profound. Could you share some examples of anecdotes from within the ashram that illustrate this equality and spirit of seva? Absolutely. One of the most touching things I've observed at the Art of Living International Center in Bangalore is how senior most teachers who have taken thousands of courses and even trustees or directors from different countries can be found cutting vegetables in the kitchen or serving food in the Annapurna dining hall, including Gurudev himself. In fact, we saw Bhanumati Narasimhanji, the sister of His Holiness Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankarji, doing 3 to 4 hours of food serving seva on Gurudev's father's birthday. I remember once during Navratri, a Swamiji was guiding a Vedic ritual in the Yagyashala in the morning, and the same evening I saw him helping volunteers arrange mattresses for incoming devotees. No one was told to do it. It's just the spirit here. You see something that needs to be done, you offer yourself. There is also the example of some international Apex members who, during big events like the World Cultural Festival or Gurudev's birthday celebrations, have been seen sweeping the stage or manning the footwear counters at satsang halls. No one feels diminished by the task because here no task is lesser. What about those working in more administrative or intellectual seva such as the trust office, Gurudev's personal office, or departments like central HR, event management, or information desk, or others? Yes, Jai Gurudev, these departments carry enormous responsibility. The trust office handles all legal, compliance, and financial stewardship with integrity. Gurudev's office, often referred to lovingly as Gurudev Karyalaya, is a space where precision, silence, and reverence coexist. Every email, every document, every visitor's arrangement is done with love and precision, yet the humility remains. I have seen most people in Gurudev's office pause to guide a confused volunteer who is new to Seva, or someone from Central HR helping with water distribution during Shivratri or Navratri when crowds swell to thousands. In fact, when I myself was doing Seva in Shri Shri Tattva in one of our projects, in Samriddhi Kit project, I saw the secretary Vishal Bhaiya or Karthik Bhaiya coming personally to ask if you have done your breakfast, if you have done your lunch, if you have done your dinner, and even offering mangoes and teas and coffees in Gurudev's personal kitchen. That's the kind of regard we get when we do any kind of seva in any department. In the events team, the volunteers coordinating logistics for 10,000 people crowd might end the day by cleaning the toilets and laughing through it. There is no rigidity of role, only flexibility of heart. In fact, some of the members who work in the kitchen, they have to eat when everybody else has left, like a mother. Suppose if there is a big event like Shivratri or Navratri and lakhs of people have come, so when all the people and the participants and guests have left after 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, they'll be having their dinners. At the information desk, it's so beautiful. Volunteers who may be directors in their corporate life stand for hours answering the most basic queries from visitors with a smile and folded hands. How do you think the practices of meditation, Sudarshan Kriya, and other tools support this seamless culture of seva? That's the secret ingredient. When one does Sudarshan Kriya regularly, prana levels increase, the mind becomes calm and expansive. One doesn't feel I did so much and no one appreciated me. You do and you drop it. Meditation creates inner silence from which true seva flows. These practices dissolve ego and strengthen the connection to a larger purpose. That's why even after working 16 hours during Navratri or a big program, you will see volunteers with glowing faces singing and dancing in satsang. Why? Because they are not drained, they are energized by seva. Even during difficult moments, a delay, an issue with logistics, or a misunderstanding, a short round of pranayama, or a 10-minute guided meditation is enough to bring everyone back into the space of centeredness. Are there mechanisms in place for all departments to also grow spiritually and not get lost only in execution and doing work and working and doing seva? Yes, that is something Gurudev has deeply emphasized. Every department, from finance to reception to Ayurveda hospital teams, has a practice of beginning the day with meditation or chanting or sadhana or Sudarshan Kriya. In the Ayurveda hospital, Shri Panchakarma also, whether a person is a junior housekeeper or a senior Ayurveda doctor, all are encouraged to participate in morning chanting or knowledge sessions. It keeps the environment sattvic in even Sri Shri Tattva, even product packaging teams are taught breathing techniques, and they do regular satsang in central HR, regular workshops on inner blossoming are given. Even during teacher training programs, when volunteers are serving hundreds of trainees, they are encouraged to take time for meditation, kriya, and knowledge. So they don't just do but also be. That's such a beautiful integration of spirituality and service. In closing, what would you say is the ultimate message about seva in the art of living? Yes, a seva in art of living is not duty, it's a privilege, it is a path to enlightenment. Here, you don't need to renounce the world to realize the divine. Just scrub a floor, cut vegetables, teach a course, or write emails with the total awareness, and you are meditating. Gurudev often says, Seva, Satsang, and Sadhana. These three together can take you to every deep, very deep. That's what makes the art of living a living tradition, not just a foundation, but a family. Thank you so much for sharing these deep insights and divine examples. That's truly inspiring. Jagadev, may we all continue walking this path of love, service, and joy, Jagadev. Jagadev, that was incredibly insightful. Could we now explore some of the lesser known dimensions of Seva, especially from departments or service areas that don't usually get highlighted? For example, back end technical teams, content writing, publications, translation, logistics during yatras, Seva in rural schools, and even Seva offered silently from home. Yeah, Gurudev, I'm so glad you asked this. Seva in the art of living is not limited to what is visible. The spiritual power of Seva often flows more strongly in what is unseen. Take, for instance, the translation teams during global events or Gurudev's tours. His words are simultaneously translated into dozens of languages. These Sevaks work in silence with deep concentration, sometimes hours into the night, reviewing subtleties so the bhav or emotion of Gurudev's words reaches every heart across the world. Then there are the technical backend teams, the ones who set up live streaming for satsangs, retreats, meditations, and kriya sessions. They sit for hours monitoring connectivity, sound quality, screen transitions. While remaining completely invisible to the audience, there is no applause, no public recognition. But their seva ensures millions can meditate with Gurudev from remote corners of the world. That's beautiful. Could you elaborate on seva done in difficult or isolated circumstances? There is a sevak from Jharkhand who teaches happiness program and prison programs in highly volatile areas. His seva is often solitary, no large team, no applause, but he treats every program like a sacred ritual. He once told me, when I speak Sudarshan Kriya instructions in that tiny jail room, it feels like I'm chanting Veda mantras in a temple. Then we have women sevaks in rural Karnataka who do Balchetna shibers in villages where girls don't have access to education or clean sanitation. These sevaks often travel long distances by foot, carry their own food, and sleep in modest surroundings, all with a smile. They know their work is not just social change, it's a social transformation and soul transformation. How is Seva perceived in Gurudev's presence? Are there instances of Gurudev personally demonstrating this dignity of Seva? Oh, yes, many. Once during a massive storm, the ashram's pathways were flooded with leaves and debris. The next morning, some early risers saw Gurudev himself picking up branches and clearing a path near Radha Kunja. When someone rushed to take over, Gurudev smiled and said, I'm not doing work, I'm just playing with nature and doing my role. That is seva, effortless, joyful, and egoless. Another incident in a European country after a public talk, the volunteers were panicking about where Gurudev would sit during dinner. Everything was still being set up when Gurudev entered and saw the rush. He picked up a chair himself, placed it on the lawn, and sat down smiling. Now everything is perfect, he said, and after some time he even served all the devotees who were coming to take their meals. These movements aren't rare. Gurudev constantly demonstrates through action that no task is beneath you and no role elevates you. It's your inner state that matters. That's divine. Could you talk about how Seva works across the hierarchy from Apex members, STCs, NTCs to international teacher coordinator to Yes Plus graduates? Yes, this is what makes the art of living timeless and unique. In an Apex meeting or an STC state teachers coordinators gathering, it's common to find senior most members folding chairs, arranging slippers, or cleaning dishes. There is no entitlement, only ownership. In fact, new Yes Plus graduates often say we were treated with so much love by senior teachers that we didn't feel like newcomers. This is intentional. Gurudev has infused a culture where no one is superior and no one is inferior. We are simply different facets of one divine family. Even in the Gurudev's office, where there is high pressure work like coordinating international travels, meeting diplomats, and scheduling global talks, the energy is soft, centered in devotion. People chant while working. No task is seen as managerial or clerical. If a phone rings and an envelope needs to be delivered across the campus, the same senior most office person may do it himself with a smile. Could you tell us more about home based seva or seva by people who cannot travel to the ashram? Yes, Seva is not limited by geography. Gurudev says, wherever you are, if your intention is to serve, nature will find a way through you. You can be doing online Seva, be it in social media, be it in YouTube. You could be conducting courses on Zoom. That is what happened throughout the pandemic. So many advanced courses, happiness programs, online meditation and breath workshops happened through Zoom, and it all happened seamlessly. There are grandmothers who daily write handwritten notes of gratitude to donors, artists who make digital flyers, video editors who silently edit satsangs all night from Europe or the US. Others manage entire Seva teams online, coordinating courses, calling participants, designing campaigns, all without ever being in the physical ashram. Recently, a young mother in Canada told me she does Seva while breastfeeding her newborn. She takes calls for an online program team and handles registrations with one hand while rocking her baby with the other. Isn't that amazing? Absolutely inspiring. Are there rituals or processes to honor Seva at the end of major events or projects? Yes, after big events like Shivratri, Navratri, or the World Culture Festival, there is always a Seva Thanksgiving session. Sevaks gather, sing bhajans, and everyone shares their experiences, from the person who cleaned rooms to the one who manages VVIPs. And in the end, Gurudev gives darshan and private meeting to each of the Sevaks volunteers who have been working tirelessly for months and weeks and days to just execute the event. Often Gurudev himself joins unexpectedly, blessing each one. During World Culture Festival 2016 in Delhi, after the grand finale, Gurudev spent hours meeting volunteers backstage, hugging them, blessing them, laughing with them. That love, not a certificate or a speech, is the true recognition of Seva here. In fact, after that event, Gurudev spent 15 days with all the Sevaks and volunteers in Rishikesh, with daily Ganga dips throughout the Rishikesh area. Lastly, what would you say to someone who feels I'm not doing enough seva or I'm not sure my seva is important? Every act done with sincerity is seva. If you light a diya in front of your altar with the sankalpa that may this flame bring peace to someone today, that is seva. If you send one loving message to someone feeling low, that is seva. Gurudev says just your presence can be seva if your heart is full of love. Seva is not performance, it's presence. Let your mind be clear, your heart be open, and your actions be without craving. Then whatever you do becomes a prayer. Thank you so much for this deeply moving and enlightening conversation. It really brings alive how seva in Art of Living is not work, it is worship. Jai Gurudev, may we all live to serve and serve to dissolve. Jai Gurudev. Jai Gurudev, so Seva in social impact and empowerment projects, the Art of Living works to make villages self-reliant and dignified, from organic farming initiatives to rural schools and water security programs. There is the Women's Empowerment Project programs, nurture women's self-esteem, creativity, and economic independence, even in remote corners, so they can lead and uplift others. These projects are supported by a full spectrum of Seva teams, from program instructors, translators, to logistics coordinators, all humbly serving without hierarchical distinctions, whether in village panchayats or corporate boardrooms. Then there is the Seva in environment and disaster relief initiatives, Mission Green Earth and River Rejuvenation, Volunteers have planted millions of trees and rejuvenated rivers like Kumudavati using simple community based techniques such as boulder checks and step well cleaning. There is the disaster relief and preserve programs. Art of Living trains inmates and law enforcement to foster inner peace. Seva ranges from facilitating courses to silent support roles like setting up remote connections or arranging materials. Each task carried out with equal reverence and care. Then there is a silent seva by invisible heroes. There are the technical teams and media coordinators, whether streaming Gurudev's meditation sessions worldwide on YouTube or editing satsang videos late into the night. These teams ensure global reach while remaining in the background, hidden, a powerful expression of humble service. There are the content creators and translators. They translate Gurudev's wisdom into dozens of languages, striving for emotional accuracy so messages maintain their potency across cultures. This seva is quite meticulous and deeply devotional. And there is a digital and home based seva, online course coordination, volunteers handle registrations, offer support, and cheer participants all from home. A young mother from Canada, for instance, balances feeding her child with managing program inquiries. Each task performed with the mindfulness and love. And there is the art and media based seva. Artists create illustrated flyers and writers pen articles and bhajans. Each of these small acts expands the reach and sanctity of seva, turning creative talent into collective upliftment. There is a sustaining seva with spiritual practices. Every project and department begins with a meditation or chanting, silence before action, whether in schools, HR, Ayurveda hospitals, or rural night sessions. Sudarshan Kriya and breath practices, regular group Kriya before events, keeps teams mentally centered, minimizing fatigue and fostering joyful communion. Amidst long hours, there is a daily satsangs, and along with it, there is a weekend long Kriya on Saturday evening, three times on Sundays. Also, we have a celebration of Seva as a spiritual offering at major festivals like Navratri. Volunteers across roles, administration, event management, hospitality, mess, annapurna, or even cleanup join in collective Thanksgiving sessions. They share their personal growth, sing together, and often receive blessings from Gurudev himself. It's not ceremony, it's a heartfelt acknowledgement of Seva as spiritual sadhana. This tradition of Vinishchaya or silent gratitude and personal folding of cloth and puja materials after rituals adds a devotional depth to routine tasks. There is the inclusive hierarchical harmony. The elders, the STCs, the NTCs, the apex members, and new graduates, regardless of role or tenure, everyone is equally invited to join in tasks like garment folding, dishwashing in the dining hall, or walking barefoot on campus for cleanliness. Senior mentors model humility for beginners, keeping the Sashakti tradition truly egalitarian. This egalitarian approach mirrors Karma Yoga action without attachment, as described in the Bhagavad Gita, revered by Art of Living and Sikh traditions alike, for serving without craving personal gain. There is a cultural ethos of continuous seva. Art of Living places seva at the heart of daily life, not just event from lunchtime till midnight, whether cleaning restrooms or hosting pilgrims at the International Center in Bengaluru. Every act is infused with dignity and devotion. Gurudev's own leading by example, be it sweeping pathways after rain, preparing seating for satsang without fanfare, or personally planting trees, or just serving food in the kitchen, be it in Annapurna kitchen in Bangalore Ashram, or North Carolina Ashram, or California Ashram, reinforces that intuition no work is low, every act is a prayer. Now, in the modern world, people associate dignity with high positions and salaries. How does the art of living redefine dignity through seva? That's a beautiful question. In the art of living, dignity is not tied to hierarchy, paychecks, or titles. It is rooted in intention and inner elevation. Whether someone is washing utensils in the Bangalore Ashram kitchen or organizing an international yoga day event at the UN, both are serving the same purpose to uplift humanity. Seva here is seen as sacred. It is karma yoga where you dissolve your ego, align with the divine will, and act without expecting anything in return. Could you share how the dignity of seva manifests practically across departments like Gurudev's office or the trust office? Yes, in Gurudev's office, there is no boss subordinate feel. Everyone is simply service of a larger vision. Even highly educated individuals, engineers, CEOs, PhDs will happily do tasks like welcoming guests, arranging flowers, or managing background emails. One example, a top tier finance executive voluntarily did flower decoration seva during Navratri Yagya, and it felt it was more fulfilling than any boardroom deal. In the trust office during busy times like Mahashivratri, you will find HODs labeling envelopes, copying documents, serving water to guests. The spirit is not this is not my job, but rather how can I contribute right now? Is this seva present in technical departments or online sevaks as well? Oh, yes, absolutely. Digital sevaks who manage live streaming websites or translations often remain invisible, but their contribution is immense. One example I remember during a live online satsang with Gurudev, the backend crashed just minutes before the event. The technical team, most of them volunteers, worked through the night, some in Bengaluru, others in California, and restored everything in time. No one of them, not one of them complained. They said, it's Gurudev's programs, we are just instruments. How does the central HR department operate with the idea of dignity of seva? HR usually functions with strict corporate frameworks. That's where the art of living is unique. HR here is not only about policies or payroll, it's about people care. For instance, when a senior volunteer fell ill during a yatra, the HR team member personally took him to the Ayurveda hospital and stayed overnight. There was no compulsion, just compassion. The person said, Seva is not clockwork here, it's a hard work. We also have team meditations before key decisions, so clarity comes from calmness, not chaos. Seva often involves challenging or menial tasks like cleaning or laundry. How are such tasks perceived in the ashram or during big events? That's a great question. Cleaning toilets, washing dishes, folding dhotis. These are seen as spiritual practices here during Shivratri. I have seen trustees scrub utensils till midnight and Swamiji's clean floors after puja. There is an incident I cherish. One lady from Germany who had come for seva in the Ayurveda hospital's laundry said, I feel closer to the divine here folding bed sheets than in any meditation hall. How do practices like Sudarshan Kriya and meditation help maintain the spirit of seva in long and tiring situations? These techniques are the secret sauce. When you do Kriya regularly, the body is energized and the mind is light. Even after 8 hours of event seva, people smile, sing, and work like they just started. There is less burnout because you are not running on stress, you are running on prana. Also, morning meditations anchor your intention for the day. I am not the doer, I am just a channel. That surrender removes tension, and if there is any tension, all the sevaks gather morning for morning sadhana, be it in Saraswati Hall, Anugrah Mantap, or Vishalakshmi Mantap, or even Dhyan Mandir for the morning sadhana, and all the tensions and the stresses of the previous day are dissolved, and you're all set to do seva for the current day. So, does this egalitarian spirit extend to how people are treated in daily activities like food or accommodation? Oh, very much so. Whether it's a Gurudev or Swamiji or a first time volunteer cleaning the floors, everyone eats the same sattvic food, drinks the same water, and often sits side by side in Bhojan Seva. I have seen guests surprised that Gurudev eats what everyone else does and offers his plate back quietly. That simplicity is contagious. No one feels less than in the ashram, and that is real dignity. Can you give examples of invisible seva, things we don't see in public but are equally respected? There are so many people who read books, silently manage inventory, manage international translations for satsang, or achieve old video footage. They do it quietly from homes or small offices. One lady in Pune has been subtitling Gurudev's talks in Marathi for last 7 years. She has never asked for recognition. That's the spirit. There are people in Germany who coordinate international volunteers for the ashram, ensuring their visa, travel, insurance, all without any spotlight. Finally, what message would you share with someone new to the art of living who wonders what seva means for them? I would say start wherever you are. Seva is not about grand gestures, it's about offering your time, skills, and smile for a cause bigger than yourself. Whether it's helping organize an online course, cleaning up your local park, or just spreading happiness, you are already doing seva. And when you add breath, meditation, and awareness to it, it becomes a path of transformation, not just for others, but for your own soul, Jagrudev.